Today I'm gonna show you how to get creative shots with your drone. Check it out, it's pretty awesome. By the way, I'm using the DJI Mavic Air 2, but these shots will work for any drone. I would say about 96.53% of the time you are constantly looking down at things with your drone, so why not try looking up at things instead? This works really well for architecture, this works really well for high places, just generally higher landscapes. It's gonna give you a really interesting perspective, and just between you and me, among your drone friends, you'll have the better drone shot. And I would say about 85.37% of the time you are flying way above the ground. Why don't you try flying super close to it instead? And I'm talking about 2 to 4 feet off the ground. If you have interesting terrain on top of that, this shot is just gonna look insane. But you do want to be careful because it's a lot easier to crash than you think. Make sure you have a clear flight path. It's also easier than you think to go ahead and like this video if you're enjoying it so far, as well as subscribe because you know I'd love to have you. Anyways, back to the drone shots. Normally, you don't have a lot going on in your drone shots. It's just a bunch of pretty empty landscapes, but what if you did? Find ways in your environment to have things constantly pass through frame. Create constant foreground. For example, you could pass by a bunch of trees, and if you can do this, you'll have a very cool shot, and if you do it right, it's gonna feel a lot faster than it actually is. Flying through things is my favorite drone shot because when it works out, it's fantastic, but when it doesn't, well, you've managed to successfully crash your drone. So make sure when you do this shot, you actually have a clear flight path, and you don't want to be looking at what's on your remote. You want to visibly be able to see your drone, so if you're coming at the obstacle and you're coming at the wrong angle, or you're having to get too close to a certain edge, you're able to pull out right away. Now this last shot really depends on your location, but if you can pull it off, it is probably gonna get you your most interesting shots. Though, I'll be honest, I kind of hate doing it, and the reason for that is because just like flying through things, and even more so, flying in things is just a lot more prone to crashing. You wanna be really confident in your drone skills before you do this, but if it works out, the shots are usually more than worth it. One last final tip for you, if you're still trying to get creative with your drone, even after all the awesome drone shots I just showed you, why don't you just try combining 2 or more of those shots? I think you'll find yourself pretty excited about the shots that you'll end up with. And now that you know all the moves in this video, why don't you try the other moves in this video right here? Other than that, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next Wednesday. Take care.